Hello, hello. Welcome, friends. It is week 4, and I am just so happy that all of you made a choice to be with us this study once again, the walk on water era. I believe that the Lord is truly calling us out of these desolate, dry places of just being content and in really asking us and pushing us into purpose. So, as we dive into this week, let's just review, because in week 1 we talked about what it means to abide. That's where it all that's where it all begins. When we get into the presence of God, we hear from him through his word, sometimes through direct revelation, just a knowing in our spirits, and that gives us the direction for our next, right? So once we spend that time abiding with the Lord, step 2, which is week 2, then we have to believe, right? It's time for us to believe what he says is true. And sometimes that's difficult because we don't really look at ourselves or see ourselves all the time the way that Christ sees us. And so we find it hard to believe that God has given us the ability to start the business, or he's given us the ability to shepherd our grandchildren daily while their parents are working. But whatever it is that God is calling you to, I guarantee you that he has given you the gifting. He's going to provide the resources. He's giving you the grace. So just be willing to obey, which leads us into week 3. Week 3 was all about obedience. Obedience is so important because everything that happens in week 1, abiding and then believing, doesn't go anywhere if we refuse to obey. If we fail to obey, then all of that we receive through that time with the Lord is in vain, right? Because it's not for us. God doesn't give us revelation just so that we keep it right here. He gives us revelation because out of that comes an overflow that should fall on all the people connected to us, our families, our neighbors, our communities, right? So I just pray that as you abide, believe, and obey, you're going to be ready to set out and do the greater things that God said that we could do. And so that is week 4. We're setting out on water just as Peter did. He set out after he asked the Lord. He believed that if he stepped on that water, that he would walk and not sink. And so he did. So when he set out, he had that belief. He'd already spent that time with the Lord, and he was obedient when God said, come. So when God asks you to come, what will you do? Will you shrink back in fear? Will you say, no, Lord, it's a little windy, looks a little chaotic. I'm comfortable. Let me just stay right here where I am. Or will you say, well, God, it doesn't really look very promising. I don't really know why you chose this time, because this is really not a good time for me, right? It's never a good time. But I am going to say yes, because I know if you're telling me to come, that you're with me. And I don't have to fear. I don't have to worry about what I'm going to say. I don't have to worry that I'm not gifted enough, because you have given me every single thing I need to do this if you've told me that this is my assignment. All right. So the verse that I love this week, it comes from 1 Peter, and it says, each of you should use whatever gift you have received to serve others as faithful stewards of God's grace in its various forms. If anyone speaks, they should do so as one who speaks the very words of God. If anyone serves, they should do so with the strength God provides, so that in all things God may be praised through Jesus Christ. To him be the glory and the power forever and ever. 1 Peter 4, verses 10 and 11. I love that, because no matter what it looks like, we all have various gifts, talents, assignments on our lives. And God is calling us to use those gifts to the glory of him, right? I don't care if you feel like you don't do it as well as she does, or maybe it doesn't look the same as the woman that you've seen do it before. God called you for a reason. Only you can do that thing the way that you can do it. And there's a reason he wants you to do that. So I just encourage you, come here, baby. No. I encourage you to set out, to be obedient, and to let God just bless what he has predestined, because he already knew. He knew every single thing that you're going through. He knew every circumstance of your life. He knew it all before he formed you, before he gave you this assignment, and he's prepared you. Okay. So I just thank you once again for being here. Over the summer, the format will change a little bit. We are going to take a break in June. In July, the format will be different. We'll be doing some weekly inspiration videos with different topics, and we'll really be heavy on the discussion in our WhatsApp group and also in the comments on YouTube if you know how to do that. But I would just love to hear from you, and I want us all to stay engaged and keep our minds intentional even throughout this kind of season of vacation and breaks. One thing I love to do in the summertime or whenever we're traveling, I always love to either wake up early and I don't usually go to breakfast by myself, but if we have a balcony, I'm there with my journal, my Bible, my worship music. And it's just such a peaceful time to be able to just spend that with the Lord, even while we're traveling. If I don't have a balcony, that's fine too. Sometimes I do go to the lobby, even in the evenings, like once my kids lay down, I'll go and just spend that few minutes, somewhere quiet alone with the Lord. And so just be intentional, make a way, spend that time with him no matter where you are. And while you're out, just remember that you are the hands and feet. You are the image bearer of Jesus Christ. And some people only ever see that because they don't know the Lord. They don't have the Bible. So you are their Bible. And just let's be those image bearers this summer. Thank you again. I'm going to pray over you and let you go. And I just want you all to be blessed. So, Lord, I pray for this woman who has chosen you. I thank you for her life. I thank you for the assignment that you gave her, Lord. I pray right now that she will no longer shrink back